Hi, I'm Alicia from Scoliosis Yoga Las Vegas. I also have a meetup group called Online Yoga Community. So welcome to you from whichever place you are watching this video. Today we're doing 20 minutes to a happier back. So it's just a short practice, movement, stretching, a little strengthening, and it's going to involve what's known as the 6 movements of the spine. So to have a happy back, uh, the muscles of the back need certain movements. They are flexion and extension, twisting, and side bending or lateral bending. So these are 6 ways that the body needs to move to have a happier, healthier back. Now, if we have an injury like a herniated disc or scoliosis, that's a condition where each side of the back kind of needs something very specific. And with a herniated disc, we need to be careful how deeply we twist or do that flexion and extension or back bending and rounding. So with those things in mind, this little practice is very general. It's very general, it's gentle. It's not going to cure your herniated disc, it's not going to cure your scoliosis, but it will allow the muscles to stretch and balance and ease, which can bring a lot of relief. So just listen to your body, and if at any point you feel like you're going too far into something, just back off and make it easier. I do highly recommend, if you do have any of those kinds of things going on, that you work with someone that can help you determine what would be best for you and what would be best to avoid. So that's my little disclaimer. So for this little class, we're going to need a yoga mat and either a yoga blanket or a bath towel folded in thirds. So set in half and half again. So it looks like a little rectangle. And what we're going to do with that first, and only if it feels comfortable, is we're going to start in a little passive back bend. So we're going to lay over the towel or the blanket. It's going to be under the shoulder blades. And the shoulders are going to be, the tops of the shoulders are going to be on the mat. Now, if for any reason this does not work with your scoliosis or any other issues, just come out of it, take the towel or the blanket out, and lay flat on your back. You can close your eyes if you like. And just start to feel the movement of your breath. Begin to notice that if you breathe deeper, you feel a bit more of this little back bend. You might even feel your back body pressing into the blanket. When we breathe, the breath expands in all 4 directions. But that might not be something that we're normally aware of. Keep breathing, keep feeling. This is a really nice little passive back bend. Even if we don't have any major issues, sometimes sitting at the computer or overusing our handheld devices causes our upper backs to round, and this is a nice countering pose for that. If you feel like it's pulling into your low back at all, you can bend your knees and place the feet on the floor. So we're going to stay here for about 5 more breaths. Once you've had those 5 breaths, if your knees aren't bent already, please step your feet in. We're going to roll to one side and press up to our hands and knees. Now, if you're on a hard floor, you can take that towel or blanket, unfold it once and use it to pad the knees. And we're going to stretch back into what's called child's pose. So take your knees a little away from each other and stretch your body back. Now, this is a traditional child's pose. It might not be comfortable for your knees though. So you could rest on your forearms instead and just let your feet stretch back. Or if you are able to bring the seat toward the heels, another option is to stack your palms or your fist. Excuse me. What we don't want is to let the head hang. This causes the muscles in the neck and the shoulders to grip and hold the weight of the head, and then they're unable to relax. So stack or stack, support that forehead. Now the beauty of this pose is it lengthens the spine and the muscles that support the spine. And it can bring some ease to the back. So it's a nice resting pose, it's a nice stretch. It's also very calming to the nervous system. So it's a relaxing pose. So on this pose, we're going to reach the hands forward. I'm going to turn toward the camera so you can better see what I'm doing. We're going to take this into a little bit of a side stretch. So from that child's pose position, we're going to step the hands around to the right. So think of your right chest resting on your right thigh, and then walk your left fingertips a little bit more forward. You'll probably feel a stretch in the upper side rib cage, maybe into the underarm. Sometimes I feel it all the way into my tricep. So hold and breathe here. This is an area that can be greatly affected by scoliosis. So done on the correct side can be a very beneficial stretch. Done on both sides, it's nice, it's helpful. If you were looking to work with your own scoliosis specifically, you'd want to look at where your curve is and which side needs to be tightened and strengthened and which side needs to be stretched and opened. Let's inhale here. Exhale, we're going to step around to the other side. So now it's left chest resting on left thigh, right fingertips walking or reaching a little bit more forward, looking for that upper rib cage stretch, maybe into the underarm. And as I said, sometimes I even feel it into my tricep. Use your breath, nice big breaths. And then we're going to take an inhale, step the hands back to center, take a breath in and out. And then we're going to come up to hands and knees. So we're going to do a movement that is flexion and extension of the spine. It's called cat-cow in yoga. So with an inhale, I'd like you to move your chest forward, tilt your sit bones or your tailbone up. Belly kind of lowers toward the mat. Exhaling, press down into your hands as you round your spine and pull your belly in. Important part for the back, pulling those abs in. Inhaling, chest forward, sit bones up. Exhaling, round, press down into your hands and pull your belly in. Back and forth. Now we're only taking either movement as far as feels comfortable for your back, never moving into discomfort or pain. In yoga, we say no pain, no pain. And especially if we have an injury or a condition, we want to make sure that we only look for that comfortable discomfort, I like to call it, where we feel a stretch, we know we're doing something, but it's not painful. We're going to add on to this movement, adding in child's pose, which we've already done. So inhaling, heart forward, chest forward, sit bones up. Exhale, round, press down, pull your belly in, and stretch your seat back to your heels, however far it'll go. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, press the hands down, pull the belly in, round the spine, and stretch back. Let's do 3 more. We're going to hold this child's pose. So come to whatever comfortable position you decided you liked when we did it the first time. Stacking, supporting the forehead if necessary. Okay. On the forearms, just reaching the seat back to the heels as far as it'll go, if that's more appropriate. See what you like. Take another breath in and out. And we'll come back up to all fours, hands and knees. We're going to do a pose now that's more of a strengthening pose. From hands and knees, we're going to take the right leg back, pressing through the heel, flexing that foot. Hips are level, belly's drawn in. We're going to reach the left arm as well. So this is an ideal pose for strengthening the core, and it also strengthens the upper back of the arm that's lifted and the lower back of the leg that's lifted. Take another breath in. Exhale to release. Other side, left leg, right arm. So as one side, one upper back strengthens, one lower back strengthens. You can imagine with scoliosis, depending on what we need on which side, this could be a very helpful pose. But done on both sides, just for easing the back. We can use it here. Take another breath in and exhale to release. Now, we stretched the upper side. We're going to stretch the lower side. So from the same position, I'd like you to slide your right toes back. We're going to pick that leg up and over the left foot. Take an inhale. Exhale. Turn and look over your left shoulder. Feel like your abdominals are engaged. You have your tummy pulling in. You might feel this down to the lower side towards your hip. Couple more breaths. And then we'll come back to center. Other side, left toes reach back, stepping that leg up and over the right foot. Turning to look over the right shoulder this time. Now I have lumbar scoliosis, and my lower left side gets so tight. So this is a really delicious stretch for me. Holding and breathing. And then coming back to center. Taking our comfortable child's pose position. Stacking palms, fists, resting any way that feels good. Again, some nice deep belly breath. The breath is a tool. With deeper, intentional breathing, we can help deepen stretches. And it's also really nice for the body because most of us don't usually breathe deep enough. Let's take more and more breath in and out. And come back up. All right, so from those movements, we stretched both sides of the body. We focused on an upper side stretch, lower side stretch. We did some nice flexion and extension with that cat-cow movement. And now we're going to move into some gentle twist variations. So twisting can be touchy with both herniated discs or scoliosis. So we want to do something gentle. I'm going to show you a couple. I like my little pillow. We're going to come on to the back. Now, I should have mentioned earlier, if you really have an uncomfortable back, you can unfold a yoga blanket or a towel or a blanket and lay on it for a little bit more cushion or support. So from the back, we're going to take the feet, so knees are bent, feet are on the mat. We're going to take the feet and the knees to touching, so very close together. Inhaling, exhaling, I'd like you to let your knees float over to the left. Now, if for any reason them coming over is uncomfortable, you could put a pillow or some kind of a support under the legs on that side. Head could pick up and turn and look to the right. Arms could reach out. Now, if you have scoliosis, upper thoracic, that affects your neck, you want to be very careful in how you turn your head in any yoga class or any pose or exercise class. So just take some breaths here. You can see how my hip lifts as my knees go to the side. It's just a very gentle twisting sensation. And then coming back up to center. Make sure those feet and knees are touching. Take an inhale. Exhale, knees to the right. Head could turn to the left as long as there's no issues with the neck. Again, if you need any kind of support under that right thigh, you could place something. For example, I could put this blanket. I still get the twist, but I don't have the torque of the weight of the legs pulling me over. Breathe a few more breaths. And then we'll bring those knees back up to center. So that's one way you can twist gently and carefully. In fact, that's a twist that physical therapists give people with herniated discs because it is safer. So another nice twisting option we call windshield wiper knees in yoga. So step your feet about mat width apart. Arms can reach out or could rest to the belly, whatever you like. Take an inhale at center and exhale, let both knees drift over to the right. Inhaling back up. Exhale, knees to the left. So that's all it is, and you can see why we call them windshield wipers. But do keep the breath involved. It's an inhale up to center, exhale to one side or the other. And this is a moving twist. And they say movement informs the nervous system as to what's safe. So I never think a moving pose is a bad thing. In fact, a lot of things I teach, we move in and out of them first, and then we hold. So the next time the knees go to the right, we can let them rest there. Again, if you feel like you need a little something under that bottom leg, make it comfortable for you. And floating those knees up, inhaling. Exhale, knees flip to the left. If you need a prop, tuck it under that left thigh. Hold and breathe. And then bringing those knees back up, take an inhale. Stepping the feet back in hip width. After we twist and side stretch and do all these things we do, we want to try to bring some normal, can't think of the word right now, some evenness or some balance back to the back. So you can bring the knees in. You might notice this is a nice stretch for the lumbar, the low back. And then if there's no issues with the neck, you could lift your forehead up to the knees to kind of round out that back. Bring it back into a neutral spine. That's what I was looking for. And then release. After a little practice, it's nice to just stretch out and rest. Take a few breaths. In yoga, it's believed that this is where the nervous system kind of puts everything together and integrates everything we just did. So it's always nice to spend 2 or 3 minutes resting. Let's bring the hands to the belly. And then just begin to feel and follow the breath. You could walk your shoulder blades in underneath you as long as you don't have a real shoulder blade rib hump issue going. Just feel the rise and fall of the belly as you breathe. From here, let's step the feet in. We're going to roll all the way to one side. Take a couple of breaths in a fetal position. And then pressing up to seated. So there we have some movements to help create a happier back. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Alicia. Namaste.